They thought she was insane. The older woman's demands led them to travel far from the station for idle discussion. While insulting the distressed woman, they chuckled, smiled, and glanced. Something strange prompted the police to ask about her son's identity. When the woman said those remarks, the officers made a major mistake. For 2 years, Samantha Morrison was alone. She wasn't visited. She thought about leaving, but the effort always put her off. That partly motivated her to leave the old house. Every corner of the house evoked memories of her husband and son and a sense of loss. More happened. Samantha lost her love 10 years ago, which was the hardest. His death shattered her world. Despite great loss, she remained optimistic. Samantha was heartbroken when her son Charlie disappeared. Depression plagued Samantha. She felt stuck after years. She wasn't sure she could move on after losing her only 2 loves. Every corner and piece of furniture held precious but heartbreaking memories of her husband and son. It continued. Samantha's neighbor was extremely annoying. Samantha initially liked it. After moving in, her house became a loud party house. Her guests left beer cans and cigarette butts in the entrance. Samantha waited for things to get better. She erred. A neighbor's loud party kept Samantha up all night. If you like my videos, don't forget to like or subscribe. Thanks in advance. Morning progressed. What happened? Samantha visited her neighbor and asked her to lower the volume. She didn't know things would go wrong. Samantha went outside after preparing for the discussion, hoping her new neighbor would understand. Knocking, she waited. Later, the exhausted woman opened the door. She rudely asked the older woman for help. Samantha solved it this way. Sorry. You're partying. That's fine, but could you lower the music? I barely slept all night. And if you could remove the garbage from the yard and the street too, that would be great. Why? My home. The girl slurred, I can do anything within its limits. The response disappointed Samantha. What should she do? I might have to call the police, she said. Good, go ahead and do that, the girl said casually and closed the door. Samantha decided there was only one option. She dialed the local police station when she got home. They assured her that police were coming when she told them the problem. She had no idea her troubles were just beginning. Samantha heard the police car quickly. The neighbor immediately lowered the music. The elderly woman was shocked when the police banged on her door instead of her neighbor's. She opened the door, expecting them to ask questions and check on her. The cop didn't want to. Samantha didn't know. Samantha's neighbor was the daughter of a city government official close to the mayor. She was invincible. The officers didn't want to get in trouble messing with the daughter of the city's most powerful man. Nope. They also asked Samantha not to bring up that issue again. They decided to pretend with the neighbor. Madam, you complained about a neighbor playing loud music. Unheard. You're lying. I'm going to have to ask you not to bother us again with this nonsense, or we'll have to file a report against you for slander, the officer said with a sly grin as the elderly woman listened, speechless. She cried impotent tears. How? One officer suddenly noticed something. Samantha's living room had a Marine's uniform photo of her son Charlie. The photo was taken a few months before he died in service in Iraq. One officer turned pale upon seeing it. Sorry, madam. Your son? Charlie Morrison. Samantha agreed. The officer cried then. That officer had met Samantha's son in Iraq. He saved his life once. After that, he never heard from him again, but he never forgot. He was still haunted by his inability to repay Charlie. He felt sick thinking he was this close to mistreating his mother to protect a politician's daughter's image. Officer Frank Failsky told Samantha everything, from his story with Charlie to why they were reluctant to intervene against the rude neighbor. Now, honoring the Marine who had saved his life was more important than a politician's daughter's reputation. He promised to report the girl even if it cost their jobs. Samantha poured coffee for the officers and told them she strongly opposed Charlie joining the Marines, but he did. "I cried for 3 days to persuade him not to join. But I lost that fight," she cried. As she told his story, all her long repressed emotions came out. Charlie and his mother were always close. They never spent weeks apart until he joined the Marines. He joined the Hawaii Marine Corps after graduating high school in 2011. The last time Samantha spoke to her son, he sounded upbeat, possibly because he was almost done with his tour or because he had a fiancée waiting for him. In a month, Charlie was going to Japan, Hawaii, and home for a few weeks. Thrilled. Samantha assisted Jamie, his fiancée, with wedding planning, dress selection, and ring selection. She missed her son. His return was prepared. But no, I couldn't stop his Marine dream. "I'm proud that he died protecting his country," Samantha said. Charlie died in Iraq in 2013. Samantha got worse news a year after losing her husband. Samantha barely coped after her husband died. She lived like a zombie. Her mother even moved in to help her recover. Her mother shook her awake one night, crying. Samantha's mom saw a terrible Baghdad accident on TV. Samantha felt nauseous even though not all Marines had been identified. She just knew. Charlie had barely started living at 20. Samantha and her mother watched the news in the heartbreaking hours that followed. The serviceman's helicopter crashed in a sandstorm outside Baghdad. None of the 6 Marines survived the crash. A door knock left Samantha numb. She knew someone would break the devastating news about her son. Samantha said she was a mess for 5 years. "I couldn't live without my son." She only had his belongings until they were taken away. Samantha's box contained Charlie's belongings. With his uniform, there was a Purple Heart medal, a memorial flag, a Memoria rifle, a Marine Corps medal, and his ribbons. Even though seeing Charlie's medals made her cry, Samantha proudly displayed them on her mantle. They left. Charlie's medals were stolen from Samantha's home a few months earlier. Samantha didn't celebrate Christmas anymore because she had no family. She was devastated to find them and some jewelry gone. Samantha told the officers tearfully, "That's another reason I want to move out of this house. I reported the theft to the police," she sighed. One officer exploded. He was astonished. "You don't know what sentimental value jewelry has, but when you see medals, you know, medals came with a price," Officer Failski yelled. "That's inexcusable." After learning about Samantha's loss of her husband, son, and what was left of him, he knew what to do. Officer Frank Failski wanted to help Samantha find her hero son's medals. He knew he owed a lot after learning her son saved him in Iraq. He still remembered that night. Like Charlie, he joined the Marines after high school. Officer Failski had 2 concussions, lost 2 friends, and watched his marriage fall apart in his first year in Iraq. After marrying his high school sweetheart, she left him for another man. He deteriorated mentally. Life was exhausting. He explained his decision to his family in letters. Charlie intervened. Officer Failski called it a night. He climbed the air duct in the 4th-floor barracks bathroom. He planned to jump. Charlie assessed the situation after hearing the noise outside. Rain-slick air ducts caught his attention. Immediately, Charlie ran up 4 flights of stairs and kicked the locked bathroom door. He dangled upside down out the window and talked Officer Failski down with 2 Marines holding his legs. Charlie received the Marine Corps Medal for his poise and resolve in calming Officer Failski and communicating with the rescue team below. His quick thinking allowed the fire department to raise their bucket and rescue Officer Failski. Charlie saved his life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.